Okay, so our goal right now is to find like how these B cards match with the A cards. And this looks like a gigantic mess, right? So we're gonna pick a card and then we're gonna find who matches with B. Or you could do vice versa. You could pick a B card and match it with A. Whichever way makes sense to you, that's what you should do. So the way I'm going to do it is I'm just going to start with A1 and I'm going to look for which B it matches with. Does that make sense? Very good. I actually have a lot of people in the chat already knowing which one we are working with here. So let's just start this off. So this first part says the relationship between the total price of service call and the number of hours worked for a plumber that charges a base fee of $55 for a service call plus $35 per hour for each hour worked during the service call. Okay, so this is how I guess this plumber charges his clients, and we need to figure out how much, like which other representation matches that. So the very first thing that I'm going to do here is I just kind of need to understand what's happening here. So I will take the time to make a little table. Tables are my favorite. You guys have all been working with tables since, I don't know, 4th or 5th grade, maybe. So I'm gonna make a table of the values. So the first thing that I'll do, actually, I'll just print out the table because that's so much easier. So I'm gonna insert a table here, something like this. Let me move it over here down a little. So as I write this table, right? When I write in this table, I'm interested in trying to see how this function is growing. Because if I can see how this function is growing, that's going to tell me whether, like, what picture I should be choosing. Okay. This is a really good task for you to all be doing. It's connecting what you know about something in multiple representations. Okay. So how does that help me? Well, if you understand how to get to target in more than one way, if there's like they're doing construction down Firestone or something, it doesn't matter. I could still get to target in a different way and I'm not forced to do something one way. Okay. So here I'm going to put this as number of hours worked. So H, and then here I'm going to put a $sign because this is how much money I'm going to make. So if I work 1 hour, I'm not the plumber, but I'm pretending. Then how much would I get? If I worked 1 hour, how much money would I get? So I'm looking for answers in the chat. Let me put this down. Let me grab this. Yeah. Well, actually, no. Hold on a second. So how much money would I get after the first hour? And yeah, including the base fee, Ms. Johnson? Yes, including the base fee. Exactly. Thank you. Good job. Yeah, I get $90. Ms. Johnson, how did you get $90? Oh man, I always forget to do this, guys. No, Ms. Johnson, sorry. Here, left, right, right. So here I got 90 plus my 35, right? No, 55 plus my 35, right? Okay, well, what if I work 2 hours? What if I work 2 hours? How much money am I getting if I go 2 hours? How much am I making? Okay. Sorry, I'm trying to grab all your really good answers up at the top here. Okay. So how much would I make? Yeah, I'd be making, no. I'm not making 90 plus 90. No. I don't get $55. Sorry, in case you don't understand, I don't get $55 for every single hour. I get 35 for every single hour, right? So if I have 2 hours worked, that's 70 plus my 55. Yeah, that's 125. Very, very good. Okay. So if you wrote 180, not a big deal. Not a big deal, right? So if you notice here, this is going to be my 70 plus 55. And I'm going to rewrite my 70 as in 2 times 35, right? Just so that you guys all see that. Because again, I want to look for that pattern, right? We talked about what's the same, what's changing. If I continue on, I'm looking for 3 hours. I actually don't care how much money I'm going to make. I actually want this. What is this expression going to be right here? Can you guys tell me what the expression is going to be for this part? And take a risk. Take a risk. It's okay. Be wrong in the chat. I'd rather you be wrong in the chat than wrong during our test, right? So give me that expression. What do you guys think? Dang, you guys are on fire today. Good job. And if you're wrong, guess what? You're wrong. That's all right. We're going to make sure that it's right. We need to be right. We need to make sure that all those wrongs get out now. So again, I need you in the chat. So for those of you who are not doing it, I need you in the chat. Okay, so I don't really care about this. I'm going to care about this. This is going to be 3 times that 35 plus my 55. Do you guys all see this expression now forming here? Yeah. And so someone said, Ms. Johnson, I think it's going to be $160. I think so. So here's what I really want to know. I want to know for H hours, what would my expression be? For H hours, what is my expression? So the first thing that I want you guys to all be thinking is, what in this expression, what is staying the same? What is staying the same? So let me get over here and let me annotate just a little bit. So when you're trying to figure out an expression, you're saying to yourself, hey, what's the same? And then you also want to ask what's different. What is changing? So here, what do you guys see is the same? Same. What's the same? Yes, that 55, that plus 55 is happening the whole time. So the end of my expression is going to look like plus 55. The 35, you're right, is still staying the same. What's the only thing that's changing? What's the only, yes, exactly. The only thing that's changing is the number of hours. So if I worked for H hours, how does that show up here? How does that show up there? Very good. Y'all are doing fantastic. Perfect. Very good. I would call out your names right now, but I don't want it to be on the recording. So good job, good job, good job. My goal, your goal, not my goal. Your goal is to get at least 2, 3, or 4 like answers in the chat. Ms. Johnson, why do you want us to have answers in the chat? Because number 1, that's telling me how well you're understanding. And then number 2, it's telling me what I need, what I'm doing good on and what I need to work on. So yeah, if you notice here, the 35 plus the 55 is all staying the same. The one that changed was this 2 and the 3, and that was based over here. So I'm going to put my H there. And I know it looks weird because it's backwards, but that's okay. You know that this is going to be rewritten when I look over there. Okay, so very, very strong work, very strong work. Okay, so when I come back over here, I'm looking for that expression that says something like H times 35 plus 55. And then you guys have all said it over and over again. Miss Johnson, it's B6. You're right. It is B6. Okay, so over here, I'm going to write U match with B6. And B6 is done. So for me, I'm going to take B6 and I'm going to match it with A1. And then I'm going to kind of like switch places with people so that it's out of my way. Does that make sense? Just so everybody can be seen. Okay. So that's all you had to do. Does that make sense? Very good. Very, very good. So this is the expression, and you're like, some of you are like, Ms. Johnson, it doesn't look the same. It won't look exactly the same because we were using H and they chose to use X. Be comfortable in using X and H, okay? Ms. Johnson, that one says 55 plus 35X. Yours says H times 35 plus 55. Yes, you're right. But we know that addition is commutative, meaning 4 plus 10 is the same as 10 plus 4. So it's okay, right? So yes, these two are together. So can everybody put those two together on their slides? Please, please, please put those two together on your slides. Let me see, my students are doing that. Awesome. Even better. Thank you. Okay. Okay, so I put those together. Yay, done. Okay, now I'm going to go and find A2. A2 is this equation. Looks like this. Anybody remember what type of equation is that? What type of equation is that? Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. So yes and yes. I'm not looking for the fastest answers. So if someone gets an answer in there before you do, no problem. I still give you credit. So yes, it is a quadratic. Ms. Johnson, what's a quadratic again? A quadratic means, let me scoot over. So this guy's a quadratic. Let me change colors. So a quadratic means x squared. And in this case, it actually means negative x squared. Oops. It means negative x squared. Okay. So you want me to look for negative x squared? Yeah, the same thing. I'm going to do the same thing that I did before. I'm going to make a table of values just so in my head, I know what to look for. So I'm going to just draw out a table of values. Here's my x, here's my y. So it looks like 0, 5 is a point, right? You guys all see this point up here, 0, 5. Oh, here's another good point right here. It's 2, 1, right? I just want to get one more point in there. This one looks pretty good. 3, -4. Okay. So when I go look for my B card, right? I'm looking for anything that has this kind of table or anything with the x squared. X squareds, this table, help me look. You guys have better eyes than I do. So, oops. I wanted that to stay. So anybody see anything with an x squared? Hey, Miss Johnson, you didn't tell us why that's a negative. It's a negative because why would you think? What, just can you guess for me really quick? Why do you think that I would say that it was a negative x squared? Yes, ma'am, exactly. So someone said in the chat, hey, Miss Johnson, I think, and I'll prove it to you. I know there's several people who said this, and I'm not going to point out your names because I don't. Yes, exactly. That's exactly why. All 4 of you. So yes, someone said it's facing down. Someone else said it's pointing down. Someone else said the parabola, that is the actual name of this shape. Everyone say parabola. Parabola is facing down. Exactly. Very strong words there. And yeah, it's going down. It's going down. You see, as I go to the right, it's going down. That's where that negative comes in. Very good. So I'm a huge fan of you all like figuring out stuff and then me saying, yeah, that's exactly right. Or no, that's not actually why. That's a coincidence. So I'm on the hunt for anything that's quadratic. I'm not going to look for a picture because then it would have to be the same exact picture, right? So I'm looking for, yeah, that's not squared. That has an x. This is squared, but I don't have a negative x squared, right? X times x, that's not it. That's an x, that's a exponential, right? Because it has an x or the variables in the exponent. 1, 1, no, that's not 1, 1. That's 1, 4. That's a no. This one, I think this one has to be it. Let me see. So let's see this and compare it to this. So it's a 0, 5. Hey, look, 0, 5. I just told you guys about 1, 4, right? And here's 2, 1, and 3, -4. Boom, there it is. It's B4. Okay, so B4 matches with A2. So I'm going to squash these two over here. B4 matches with A2. I did this similar activity in my other class, and I felt like I was playing bingo. So bingo, we found B4 and A2. So far, so good? Okay. The next card that I'm going to choose is going to just go in order. So that's A3. Oh, this guy. So again, the very first thing I'm going to do is, what do you think I'm going to do first? Anybody know what I'm going to do first? Yes, very strong. Who knows what that person think? What do you think that person said in the chat? That's exactly what I'm going to do first. Yes, exactly. Woot, woot. Okay. So yes, I'm going to make a table of values first, simply because as I make a table, it helps me think about what I should be thinking about, right? So this one's just going to be an X and Y table because they didn't give me any context, right? And so one of those values looks like -3, 8. Another one is going to be -2, 4. Another one is 0, 1. And all the other values look like, I think that's a half, but I'm not exactly sure. And because I'm not exactly sure, I'm not going to write it down. Okay. So now I'm looking for anybody that matches this. So can you give me some wrong answers first? So for those of you who are like, I don't know what you're doing. Okay. Can you give me some wrong answers? Who doesn't match this table or graph? Which one of these guys does not match the table or the graph? Which, give me a wrong answer. Okay, so someone said B10, Miss Johnson. B10, yeah. Like, oh, it went away. Sorry, hold on a second. Come back to me. Here. This one doesn't match that. Yeah, that one does not match that because like this has some like weird 500 in it and some weird 8, like 0.85. But it does have an X in the exponent, and we know that this, if you don't know, this has some like exponential looking kind of stuff to it. So you're right, B10 is not it, because even if I plugged in 0, right? If I plug in 0 here, and we can use Desmos to verify me, but when I plug in 0, we learned the other day that anything to the 0 is 1 times 500 is not 1. So this is not the answer. So you're right, B10, no. Okay, so someone else said, sorry, that one goes away whenever I click the other thing. Someone else said B2, Miss Johnson. B2 is not the answer. Or are you saying that is the answer? I don't know. Sorry, my bad. Okay, I'm not sure if you meant that is the answer or not. So I'm just going to poke around. I know that this one's not the answer because it's supposed to be 1, 1 here, and it's not. It's 0, 1. Boo. Boo. Right? And this one over here, well, it can't be any of these graphs, right? So it's not this, not this, not this, not this, because it would have to be the same graph, right? We already said it can't be B10, can't be this one. So it's either between B3 and B2. Okay. So I actually don't know. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to graph this one in Desmos. So let me put this guy in front and go to Desmos really quick. Graph this. And if you don't know how to enter this, I'm going to enter exactly what I see, and I'm hoping that it'll look like this, okay? So I say y is equal to parentheses 1 divided by 2. Oh, that looks good, right? That looks like to the half. And then I'm going to go outside the parentheses, and I'm going to go to the. Now, to the in Mathland is the shift 6, but if not, you would just use this button here. See how it says to the? To the? Okay, so to the what, Miss Johnson? That one says N. I'm going to use X because Desmos likes X. Put that away. Look, that looks like that. That looks like that. Yeah. So these two are actually, so B2 is the answer. But Miss Johnson, this one's like, these are ... and this is like connected. How come? Well, do you remember we talked about, oh gosh, I don't even know if it was this class or the other class. I'm so lost. This is a discrete function, means do not connect the dots. Here, it's a continuous function, means they connected the dots. But if I took this and I laid it right on top of here, do you see how it matches? Right? So yeah, these three do match. Oh, so it's okay for us to use, if this says N here, but the calculator says X here, because this calculator only functions in terms of Y and X. It doesn't, if you put N here, I actually don't know. Oh, it does know. I didn't know that. Thanks for whoever asked that. I didn't realize that if you put a different variable there, it would actually graph it in terms of that. So there you go. I didn't know that. So I'll usually use X because it's okay to use X. Okay, so there you go. Questions on this? So Ms. Johnson, B2 matches with A3. So let me write that. B2 matches with A3. So let me put those together, B2 and A3. Okay, so I'm going to take a second here and I'm going to pause you and I want you to look at this one. I want you to look at this one. So pause and let me know, like we're going to pause and I want you to try this one here. Take everything that you know so far and make sure that it matches that. So I'm going to pause you really quick.